Hi everyone, today I'm covering the Anbernic RG Nano. The RG Nano is nano by name and by size. It's absolutely tiny. It still has a premium build with an ARM Cortex A7 processor, 64 megabytes of RAM, no onboard storage but a micro SD slot, a tiny 1.54 inch screen with a 1:1 ratio, and a 1050 milliamp battery inside. It emulates up to PlayStation 1 and all in a keyring form factor. Straight out of the box, the RG Nano is not only very difficult to film, so apologies any shaky cam across the way, but it's also certainly the most premium Nano handheld I've ever held. It has this awesome shrunken Game Boy DMG vibe that really looks and feels pretty awesome. Certainly the type of thing that will just attract a few double glances, as it's just got this awesome finish throughout. The shell design makes cosmetic sense, with the charge port at the top that's recessed a little. The shoulder buttons hang slightly around the edges, and despite the tiny screen, the shell design makes the most out of it by making it the focal point of the whole handheld. The controls are loose, which takes a little getting used to be honest, especially when comparing it to Anbernic's standard controls, which are generally much tighter. But for the Nano size, the softness does actually make sense. The D-pad glides in all directions with minimal input. The buttons are very mushy and barely take any effort to press. This ultimately translates very well to one-handed gameplay the most, where the inputs being a lot less forgiving allows you to quickly move your hand around the handheld without issue, but does suffer when it comes to precision platforming, with it easy to hit multiple directions at a time, which can make Sonic pull to a stop, or a character glide to the ground unexpectedly during gameplay, for example. Somewhat unexpectedly, I actually found fighters and arcade gameplay in general the easiest to control with the Nano, as well as it being a fantastic portable Pokemon machine too. These are probably the best use cases for the Nano anyway, as if you're playing precision platformers on a Nano handheld with a tiny screen, you're always going to be looking for trouble. The RG Nano uses the Funky OS open source firmware made by the guys at Funky, and it must be said that they really know their Nano form factors, as the firmware is perfectly tuned to the tiny screen. Everything not only just works, but performance is actually really great throughout, with only PlayStation and the really tough Super Nintendo games running into any trouble during my playtesting. I absolutely love how quick it boots and how responsive the whole firmware is in general, and the Emulec-inspired overlay is a very cool feature too. Overall, the Funky OS firmware makes playing on the RG Nano the best it's going to be, and it is really impressive. So I'll cut some gameplay now and summarise back up at the end. So, I gotta say, despite being impractical as an everyday main retro gaming handheld, and it being limited by the teeny tiny form factor in a few ways, Anbernic have made my favourite Nano handheld of the RG Nano, as it ticks a lot of boxes for the Nano handheld, and definitely brings the wow factor as a keyring. It's certainly recommended if you're looking for a tiny handheld. But that's it for now. Thanks so much for watching.